Have you ever been drinking beer when you all of a sudden just stop and enjoy the art on the bottle? Of course not, but it happens to me all the time. I've always been a little different, unique. My father is a designer. I used to watch him draw and create all day long. He had his clients and I had mine. I would create imagery and logos for imaginary businesses, typically owned by my action figures. I have always had design in my life. I am Philip Draper, father, husband, and designer. Not only was I an only child growing up, but I also had ADHD. So my upbringing was interesting. What I thought was my personality ended up being called a disorder. My thoughts were all over the place. I could go on tangents off of any conversation. I enjoyed taking something, thinking about it in a totally different way, finding creative ways to explain things to myself. I had learned how to harness the crazy, unorganized piles of thoughts and use them to benefit me rather than inhibit myself. This has made me a chameleon, more creative, and a quick-witted person. Over my life, I have put myself in situations that have allowed me to be curious and involved in my surroundings. I took any and all art-centered classes I could find, from learning basic painting at the library to learning CS2 in an elective course in high school. If I was allowed to create, I was there. My mother used to own a craft store, the Creation Station, which was in an old gas station. She would run scrapbooking classes out of there, and I used to help her out all the time. This helped me gain an understanding of balance and page layout. I've held a number of jobs that have molded my professional personality. I started my working life as a busboy at an Elks Lodge. I would watch gentlemen in suits talk amongst themselves, looking like they had the world at their fingertips. I dreamt of wearing a suit, and I wasn't sure why. During my next job in retail, I began to realize that I didn't want to wear an actual suit. I wanted what a suit inferred. I wanted to look the part. I believe appearance is the most important part of your professional life. Here, I also learned ways to talk to people based on cues I would pick up from them. I would find a common ground to build a sense of familiarity, and I would proceed to do my job. These skills ended up serving me quite literally when I went back to the service industry. I began working for a new steakhouse that moved into town right next to Cabela's corporate headquarters. I began conducting myself more professionally. I climbed the ranks through to management in only 1 year. I began to notice that I could actively control the way people looked at me. Why am I telling you this, you may wonder? This is exactly how design works. Design allows me to alter the way people look at something. Design allows a bottle of beer to turn into an experience. That is why I'm a designer. Complete freedom. I use every experience as a chance to grow and develop. I try to see the bigger picture. I aim to do things in the present to make things better in the future. Every position I hold snowballs into the next. Every step I take is one in the right direction. I am very optimistic, and I truly believe happiness drives success. I like to empower others to do what they like to do. I enable positivity and expect success. Everything in my life has led to somewhere, even a so-called disorder. The thing that teachers, family, and doctors all said would be a burden to me and others developed my mantra: artistically driven, homemade designer, ADHD. My target audience is the creative department at Cabela's corporate headquarters. They have an excellent team of designers whose recent project launches have made big waves. Their Instinct and XPG lines have had awesome themes and imagery associated with them. Definitely a team I would love to be a part of. The competitive advantage I have for this to be effectively presented is that I am easygoing, but also very driven. I have already had meetings with my future managers and director. I took the nerves out of the situation beforehand. I also made myself more personable to them rather than just being a name on a resume.